Welcome, everyone. It's season 3, episode 14 of the Hall of Fame show, the highest rated podcast by a Canadian and American weekly discussing Halls of Fame. I checked that. It's true on iTunes.
And Spotify. And,
you know, if you don't believe that, maybe we should put that on our IMDb page because Evan and I, we have them.
We do, yes. That was one of the greatest shocks of my life when I found out I had an IMDb page.
Nice.
I thought I was being pranked. So, in case you're wondering how you get an IMDb page, both Kirk and I will tell you, we have no idea.
Apparently it's who we know. We just don't know who it is.
That's entirely right, yeah. We know friends in high places, but they exist mostly in shadow and rumor, as far as we can tell. So
I like that.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So I don't have so much of a smorgasbord of shit, usually how we open up the show, because we have a lot to talk about. There was a big announcement in basketball where we now know our basketball Hall of Fame class. So we're going to look at that. And the WWE Hall of Fame had their ceremony. And before I go any further, congratulations, South Carolina, for winning the women's Final Four. Not just congratulating that school for winning, but for getting a lot of people to watch. It was, from what I read, the highest rated program of women's basketball for NCAA. And it's got to be, they're claiming 3.5 million. I think they're with all platforms. It's probably true. It's likely an embellished thing, but what isn't embellished? It was a full crowd. It was trending all that night on on Twitter. I thought I took care of all those toys. Apparently not. For those wondering, that's Jasper the Friendly Corgi. Follow him at Jasper_the Friendly Corgi. We'll just sort of keep going with that. He's trying to get our attention. A beautiful corgi, by the way.
I'd rather have the corgi squeaking than the frogs, so we're fine.
Isn't that true? Yeah. Well, I don't miss the whistling frogs. I don't miss the bugs. However, I'm not really enjoying snow in April.
We had that too, earlier this week. It was my son woke up, looked out the window, and just said, "No, why?" I'm pretty sure that he's going to move someplace warmer when he gets older. He's not going to be living in Chicago, I think, his whole life. So
you never know where life's going to take you. Look at me.
No, I never expect to end up in Chicago. So here I am for the rest of my life.
Yeah. So last week I said we were going to play a game. We were going to play Does Evan Know Any of These Legends in the Legacy Wing? And
yes. Yes, I remember this now. I did no prep, so this will be good.
You didn't have to because there wasn't any.
Oh, I don't know them.
Yeah. So the WWE, so I'm going to first rag on them first and then sort of applaud them. Get some consistency, guys. I mean, you waited all this time to let everyone know who it was. Now, apparently, according to Jim Cornette on his podcast, when he was asked to induct the Rock and Roll Express, he was asked 3 months ahead of time. There doesn't seem to be a whole lot of that occurring at this stage here in terms of prep. Who knows why they didn't sort of come up with anything. There's no celebrity inductee this year either. But so be it. What are you going to do? I just asked for some consistency is all. One thing that also was interesting, Hall of Fame inductee last year, Brie Bella, or was it Nikki Bella? It was Nikki. She said,
Nikki, yeah.
Okay, yeah, Nikki. I'm really looking forward to the speech by Vader. It's always great when some of the old timers sort of tell their stories. Unfortunately, Vader is dead.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Not too. That's my negative. The positive is that they do a great.
Wait, whoa, though. Wasn't Vader a hologram in Star Wars? Maybe that Vader can give a speech.
Brie or Nikki, I am your father, and I'm not truly pleased with you right now. I don't know. Something.
Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So I thought it was a great ceremony. Undertaker accepting his induction was class. Scott Steiner did not go apeshit like I thought maybe is remotely possible, and it was really good. And the WWE did a really good job. I actually enjoyed WrestleMania, probably because I had zero expectations and I watched it. Easy for me to say. I watched it on delay, so I could just fast forward through everything. And I've got to say, if they ever do celebrity inductees, can I just go to some elevator ups right now?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
100%.
Okay. And that's basically all three celebrities who appeared. Logan Paul, he's been a regular on this. I know a lot of people dislike him. I don't like him either, but this guy knows how to get people to hate him. He's a natural. I don't know. Go ahead.
The one thing I saw after this is if Logan Paul want to be a WWE superstar, he could do it tomorrow. Like he was he's fantastic. Show. Yeah.
He was really, really good. He's got the size. He was bigger than his tag partner and his opponents. He's clearly athletic. I did hear from him that, or not from him, from Dave Meltzer on his site, that apparently part of the deal was that at some point he's going to turn babyface. No, don't do that. People want to hate you, and you know this. I think you know this. I put Logan and his brother in the same level of the Kardashians. They're not the brightest people, but they know how to do one thing exceptionally better than almost anyone else, and that's market the hell out of themselves. So either way, Logan was great as a heel. He got amazing heat, and he clearly put in the work. Johnny Knoxville. A lot of old school wrestling fans hated that match against Sami Zayn. I was entertained. He put in the work, and basically when you're pretty much known for jackass and taking a beating, obviously he didn't have much of a problem taking a beating.
Right.
And he did. And Pat McAfee was also fantastic in his.
I saw the flip he did.
I mean, like, that was only maybe his third match in front of people.
Yeah, not bad for a punter.
Yeah, I mean, so incredible. If I have any kind of issues with any of them, is that all three of them won. They're not all gonna. Yeah, so that's kind of an issue going forward. But I'm not the booker. But if these are three people who increase their value on if we really give a shit about the WWE Hall of Fame celebrity wing.
Understand.
Some of us do. So
was it Wee Man also involved somewhere?
Wee Man was also involved. He body slammed, if you can imagine that, Sami Zayn to do that, which, you know what, say what we want, the crowd was into it.
All right. I mean, my son jumps off the couch and pretends to body slam me as well, but I just catch him and throw him back over the couch.
Well, you should have coached Sammy, because clearly he didn't know to do that. He was working on his promo skills and not his defensive skills.
Got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I wanted to sort of like talk about that briefly. Oh, Jasper's also got more things to say about that. He also had a wonderful time watching WrestleMania. Actually, he fell asleep the whole thing. Yeah. So let's go right to the Basketball Hall of Fame. We've got our class. Again, not exactly consistent because we never know how many they're going to be. We can criticize a little bit because they've got way more people than they should. But I got no
13 does seem excessive.
It does.
Say 13 does seem excessive. Not that anyone doesn't deserve to be here, but like 13 does seem like a lot for a class.
Yeah. So shall we look at the whole class?
Sure.
All right. So I have this alphabetically. So Swin Cash.
Very, very difficult to argue that she belongs there. 4-time All-Star, 2-time Olympic gold medalist.
Yeah. So like definitely worthy. And she's not even the number one female inducted, which just shows you how loaded this is. Larry Costello.
And she's in which front office? Is it Charlotte? She's in someone's front office now. She was Swin Cash.
Oh, I don't know that.
I'll look that up while you're talking. Go to the next one.
Okay. So Larry Costello. So he was, I guess the old time. I know I'm getting this wrong, but I believe the what do they call it? The all-timer? Not the all-time. The
Veterans Committee.
Thank you.
No, so it's a contributor committee, though, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Larry Costello. Yeah.
Yeah. Because he became a successful head coach, took Milwaukee to the first title, but as a player, he was pretty good. 6-time All-Star in the 50s and 1-time second-team All-Star. So we got a name that probably fell through the cracks at some point.
I'm actually going to talk about another one, unfortunately, in the death roll later. So someone else they probably should have gotten at some point.
Yeah. Hugh Evans, official, 35 NBA final games, 2,200 games. And the big name, Manu Ginobili. I mean, I actually, Vinny Los Manusa, our good friend, sort of responded to one article where somebody was really trashing on this pick. And I think,
yeah, I know, which is dumb.
Yeah, Ginobili. Okay, if you're looking at just as all-stars, you're not getting the whole picture. And this Hall was always taking care of international accomplishments. Manu Ginobili is a gold medalist, defeating Americans, and he's got.
I would like to remind everyone that Dino Radja is in the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Mm-hmm.
Dino Radja has a worse resume in the NBA by a lot, and a worse resume internationally by a lot than Manu Ginobili. Mm-hmm. If Dino Radja is in, Manu Ginobili is an absolute slam dunk, no doubt. He was anyway, but it's just dumb to have this argument.
Well, and Ginobili didn't get in as an international. He got in through the straight up committee. We'll get to the international one later, but I mean, like, he was the biggest name on this. Do they win all 4 championships without him? I don't think so. No. You know, it seemed pretty cut and dry to me, but
I mean, it's Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker. All 3 of them getting in.
Yeah,
Duncan, Ginobili already there. Parker's going to get in too, though.
Yeah. So Tim Hardaway, we've talked quite a bit about him, why he had to wait, and for those who may not be aware, he said something so homophobic I can't repeat. I don't want to repeat it. Basically what he would do if he ever had gay teammates. He's since atoned for that, has put his money where his mouth is in terms of LGBT charity. And, you know, he was welcome back in the league some time ago. I believe, I can't remember what team he's an assistant coach for, but he is working on an NBA team right now. So, you know, they made him wait, didn't punish him forever.
The last member of Run TMC to get in, and he is currently with Tim Hardaway. Let's see who he's working with. By the way, Swin Cash is the vice president of basketball operations and team development with the Pelicans.
Okay.
So
she's got her work cut out for her. She's going to have to swim upstream to build a good team there.
Oh, boy.
Okay, I set the bar really low.
Yeah, it is pretty low. I don't see where he's working with at the moment.
I want to say Detroit, but I could be wrong. It doesn't matter. Either way,
it doesn't matter.
He's back. He's back, and I'm personally happiest for him.
Yeah,
you know, because he did legitimately seem to put in the work, or he's a great actor.
Either way, he's put in the work, does the acting, but I actually believe him. So
yeah. So Del Harris, a longtime coach, head coach with the Lakers, former coach in the year, and internationally, I didn't know this, that he did a lot of work helping develop Canada, China, and the Dominican Republic.
Also, one of the finest pure white heads of hair in the history of basketball.
Yeah, I think yeah, you had to sort of qualify that with basketball. I think I like that.
Yeah,
because like already, like my first thought is John Slattery.
My first thought is actually Christopher Lloyd, but anyway. From Back to the Future. But anyway, continue.
Oh, that works. Lou Hudson, someone who also had to wait a long time.
Where was he on your list?
Top 10.
Yeah, I knew he was up there somewhere.
I want to say number 6. Oh, and for all the people who are making comments and saying, yes, they're in. I know that. I'm working on it. They're going on. It takes me a while to put all that stuff through.
You didn't update your entire site in a week?
No.
What do we not pay you for?
Yeah, actually, it's sort of interesting because we're going to be talking about a comment that came in that's going to be part of an elevator down that I let the comments stand, and then we can sort of discuss that a little later. I just told you I got some hockey, and this is an interesting one.
Okay.
But yeah, moving on, Bob Huggins, who's still active. What's your take on, and he belongs, I believe, in the Basketball Hall of Fame, but I always find it weird when an active coach gets inducted.
Bob Huggins has the lowest graduation rate of any coach in NCAA history.
Okay, I didn't know that.
His teams at West Virginia graduated 3% during his time there.
Well, to be fair, in West Virginia, that might be as much as they can count.
I knew there was a joke there for it, but yeah, it's kind of crazy to me. I know he was a very good coach. His teams were very, very good.
So 3%, like what is that? Like one player for 5 years?
Basically, yeah. This is the only name that bothers me, and it's not because of the coach. It's just that, I mean, I know that there's the fiction that, players are supposed to be graduating and everything from college basketball. That's not what college basketball is about or anything. But like just 3%. Come on. I think it was that, and it was 0% at Cincinnati and 3% at West Virginia. It's something ridiculous like that.
0 at Cincinnati. And
it was. I'd have to look. I remember 0 at Cincinnati. I'm pretty sure it's 3 at West Virginia. It's just ridiculous how bad he was at graduating people. So, yeah, he was a very good coach who got very good players who cared nothing about the actual academic side that he's supposedly supposed to. But again, he never got busted for, creating a fake class for his basketball players like Hall of Famer Roy Williams. So, I mean, whatever. He's literally the only one on this entire list I have any negative feelings towards. And at the same time, I acknowledge he belongs.
I would have said the same thing had I known that. I did not know that his rate was so low.
Yeah, it's ridiculously low. So anyway.
All right. Another coach, George Karl.
Mm-hmm.
So another great coach who never won the whole thing. But God, how many great people, players and coaches, didn't win because of Michael Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, that's his problem.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they had Sean Kemp, Gary Payton, Detlef Schrempf. That Sonics team was really, really good.
I love
Jordan was just better.
Mm-hmm. So this year's international inductee, Radoslav Korach. I'm apologies if I'm mispronouncing that.
That's probably pretty close.
I think so. So great international selection. I wasn't familiar with him before, and like, holy crap, this guy was amazing.
It's kind of amazing he was still available to be out there at this point. Because I'm not familiar with him either. And then I looked at it, I was like, they should have inducted this guy a long time ago.
Mm-hmm. So like they considered to be one of the top players in Yugoslavia, took his team to silver in the 68 Olympics. That's impressive in itself, when that was pretty much the US always winning everything, and then the Soviets putting together a really good team that always gave them a run for their money. So like that is impressive. World Cup silver in 63 and 67. Died at the age of 30 in a car crash. And from what I read, they think that maybe he might have been NBA good. Hard to say. I mean, but nobody was looking at Europeans then. And even then, they couldn't have. Because actually, now that I'm thinking about it, Yugoslavia would have been part of the Soviet bloc. So he couldn't have left anyway.
Correct.
So, Immaculata is well represented by two people. Teresa Shankarans and Marianne Stanley, who were teammates, and I guess they're already in, because Immaculata, from their run in the early 70s, like the most
the whole team was inducted.
Right. So they're now two-time inductees. Both are now being inducted as coaches. Shankarans, 671 and 309 record at St. Joe's, Rutgers, Illinois, and internationally took gold in the Goodwill Games. I wish they'd bring that back.
There isn't enough goodwill in the world for games anymore, my friend.
I suppose that is true.
Whatever goodwill's left, we can't afford to gamble with.
Yes. Well, in some ways, Ted Turner was ahead of his time, except when he tried to coach the Braves. And Marianne Stanley, she has an interesting up and down career as I'm sort of looking at that. Head coach, then assistant coach for years. I don't quite know why she was the head coach. She was the coach at WNBA Coach of the Year, and then a year later, she was an assistant for what seemed like forever, but very successful coach in her own right, and certainly well deserving.
Yep.
And the biggest female name is Lindsey Whalen, possibly the biggest star female player that Minnesota ever had. Member, like Swin Cash, a member of the 20th and 25th anniversary team, more successfully internationally than Cash, with 2 Olympic gold and 2 worlds, and 4 WNBA titles.
Just the 4.
Just the 4,
Yeah.
So
that's pretty good.
This is a very good class. I just wish we'd see some consistency, but I'll say this: at least their timing is always perfect.
That is true.
We know every year when they're going to do it by clockwork, and it always coincides with the NBA All-Star Game and the opening of the Final Four. It's good. It's perfect. I mean, we know when it's going to be. So, congratulations to these newest members, all deserving. And yeah, I actually going to try and look up some more of what Korach did. I want to see if I can find some of these games on YouTube.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. If you could go find an old Korach game, that'd be kind of amazing. So one more thing before we move on to anything else. I know one, and again, I'm a homer on this, but one of our favorite halls of fame is the Patriots Hall of Fame every year. They announced for the first time ever the nominees who can become the finalists.
Oh, I missed that completely. Who are they?
Mike Reese came out with this earlier today.
Okay.
So they've never, as far as I know, because I follow it pretty closely, they've never actually told us who all the nominees were until afterwards. So the 3 finalists come from the following group of people: Julius Adams, former coach Chuck Banks, Logan Mankins, lawyer Malloy, trader Bill Parcells, former kicker John Smith, who has 2 of the most famous kicks of all time. One was the snowplow game, where the convict on work parole cleared the field so he could kick the field goal to beat the Dolphins in 1982. And also in 1980, he was lining up a kick on Monday Night Football when Howard Cosell announced to the world that John Lennon had been shot in London.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, if you ever look at, that's how America found out, was on Monday Night Football with Howard Cosell as John Smith was lining up a kick. Mike Vrabel, who's been a finalist multiple times now for the Pats, Wes Welker, and Vince Wilfork.
Well, okay, what I'm going to ask.
Mike,
Who would you vote for? Like, who do you want to see in?
I mean, looking at this list, it seems like it's Wilfork's to lose, just the way Patriots fans feel about it, feel about these folks. My guess is the finalists are, they keep putting Parcells up there. But my guess is the finalists are probably going to be Mankins, Wilfork, and Welker.
Okay.
And people are going to vote for Wilfork. It's going to be my guess on this.
So I didn't ask you, is your good, the bad, and the ugly have anything to do with baseball?
No.
Okay. All right. So before we go into the next bit.
For once, for like the first time in forever.
Okay. Yeah. That's why I had a cue this year. Hey, Albert Pujols, go fuck yourself.
You want 700 home runs. Come on.
Okay, sure. All right. So you've been with your wife 22 years and you say, yeah, I know it's an inopportune time while my wife's in brain surgery, but yeah, we just got some irreconcilable differences here right now. Fuck you.
Oh, that part I didn't actually hear. So
yeah, no, that's maybe that's just me being sort of like my dutiful husband to my wife. It's not Albert Pujols' wife, but it's just, and maybe there's more to it than that, but Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
Like,
hey, Newt Gingrich told us how a devoted family man he was when he left his wife on her deathbed when she was dying of cancer. So
I didn't even know that.
You never know. Yeah. So anyway, all right. So speaking of other things, should I get into the death roll for the week?
Yes, please.
All right. So I'm going to start. The Beige Mistress has 2 people this week. So the Beige Mistress, of course, is killing Hungarian athletes. I noticed this 2 years ago when I was doing this. There were a lot of Hungarian athletes dying. And because it's so weird, we decided to name this character who is killing them all, the Beige Mistress rather than the Black Widow, which I'm pretty sure is trademarked on like 7 levels at this point. The first of these,
I know who can play her because she's probably going to get canceled. How about Evangeline Lilly?
I think she's too good an actress. How about what's her name from the Oscars? Who had the really bad joke? Amy Schumer. That would be more likely. Amy Schumer had a joke that was so bad they said she couldn't do it, and then she told the joke and outed herself about like "Don't Look Up's the title of the movie, more like "Don't Look like down Alec Baldwin's shotgun."
I
was like,
that's not a joke you would tell in that thing. Maybe in front of a couple other people, sure, but
yeah,
not at the Oscars. But
nothing funnier than a woman dying by accidentally getting shot. So
I'll say this: I'm no fan of Amy Schumer. I thought she did a decent job. I thought the 3 of them did okay.
1 stolen joke is an accident. 2 stolen jokes is a pattern. 50 stolen jokes is an Amy Schumer special.
I didn't say I was a fan of hers. I just said I didn't think she was terrible. I'm certainly not the president of the Winnipeg chapter of the Amy Schumer.
Well, it's just because you've just gotten back. They haven't had elections yet. So anyway, the Beige Mistress. So we lost Hungarian footballer and forward member of the Hungary national team at the 1958 FIFA World Cup, Zoltán Friedmanski, who passed away at the age of 87. Also lost Carol Devine, who was actually, I take that back. Carol Devine is Czech. Never mind, I'm wrong. Carol Devine, anyway, represented Czechoslovakia in 1960 Winter Olympics and won the silver medal. I screwed that up. So I'm sorry to Carol Devine, but yeah, not killed by the Beige Mistress unless she's crossing borders. Anyway, we had a lot of deaths in music this week, but we'll get there in a second. Let's start with one of the remaining members of the Rockford Peaches, Shirley Berkovich.
Oh, an original.
Passed away. Yep. Well, she wasn't one of the original ones. She played for the Chicago Colleens and then the Springfield Sallies and finally the Rockford Peaches. She passed away at the age of 89. She actually appeared in the movie as the older version of Alice Skeeter Gaspers. So she got to play one of the older versions of the ladies in the movie.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. I gotta watch that movie again. That might be one of my favorites.
It's been a long time since I've seen it as well, so that makes some good sense. Another actress from that movie who I normally would not be mentioning, other than the fact we've already gone there, Ray Allen, passed away at the age of 95. She played Ma. I can't remember her last name. In League of Their Own. I have it right here actually. But she played Ma Keller in the League of Their Own. But she also won a Tony. She also won a Tony and was a very well-known actress on Broadway. But she won a Tony for Best Supporting Actress in the 1971 musical or play, and Miss Reardon Drinks a Little, which I've never heard of.
There might be a sequel, Mr. Buchner Drinks a Lot.
Yeah. So, but she was also in the original production of Damn Yankees, and actually was the first person to sing "Shoeless Joe" from Hannibal Moe on stage. So, from the world of Canadian sports writing, Canadian Hockey Hall of Famer, National Lacrosse League Hall of Famer, and St. Catharines Sports Hall of Famer Neil Stevens passed away at the age of 74. Spent 35 years with the Canadian Press.
Okay. I'm sure. Yeah, I've read piles of stuff. Yeah. St. Catharines is from where I'm from.
Okay. Yeah, he's in a lot of Hall of Fame. So he's in the Hockey and National Lacrosse Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. So, we lost one more writer while we're at it. Patricia McLaughlin. who was originally from Wyoming, but wrote the book that we all had to read in second grade here in the United States, Sarah Plain and Tall, which won the Newbery Medal, passed away at the age of 84.
That sounds fascinating.
Yeah, Sarah Plain and Tall was literally the first book I think I was ever required to read at school. So I remember that book distinctly. From the world of wrestling, we lost luchador Razil, passed away at the age of 49 from the Mexican Wrestling League. So his name is not part of public record. His actual birth name has been stricken from the public record. I am not kidding.
Oh, I believe that.
So he is only known as Razil, but he passed away at the age of 49. I can't say I know anything about Mexican wrestling, but this is your world, so I figured I'd throw it out there for you.
I'm not familiar with them.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I can say though that they take that very, very seriously when it comes to that. Mil Mascaras when he died, he died with his mask on in the open casket. Or not Mil Mascaras, sorry, because I think he's still alive. Crap. El Santo.
Okay.
Yeah. Not Mil Mascaras. Right. He's still alive. Sorry, Mil.
From the world. Right, dude. He's gonna have to put out a press release now. Doug Sutherland passed away, defensive tackle, and mostly for the Vikings. One of the 50 greatest Vikings. Passed away at the age of 73. Played in Super Bowl 8, 9, and 11 with them. Started with the Saints in 70. Finished his career in 81 with the Seahawks. Every year in between, he played with the Vikings. So, 14th round pick. Played 12 years. That's pretty good.
Can you imagine that sandwich being so good, right? You start off with the 70 Saints and finish with the 81 Seahawks. Like, thank God. You didn't win a Super Bowl, but thank God you're with the Vikings in the 70s, huh?
Oh, yeah. 100%. From the world of basketball, I brought this up earlier, but someone who the Pro Basketball Hall of Fame may have overlooked at this point, Gene Shue passed away at the age of 90. Played for the Philadelphia Warriors, Knicks, the Pistons, and the Bullets. Also coached the Bullets, Sixers, Clippers, and then Bullets and Clippers again. 5-time All-Star, first-time NBA All first team, once NBA All second team, 2-time NBA Coach of the Year in 69 and 82, and one of the early great guards in the early days of of basketball. So just somebody who seems like probably should have gotten a little bit more love than they have with everybody. He's the 3rd pick in round 1 of the 1954 draft. So
can you believe though, at some point in time, the NBA actually had didn't they have at least 7-8 rounds? What was the point of that? You have a roster of 12.
I do not know. The pick directly before Gene Shue, by the way, the Milwaukee Hawks drafted some guy named Bob Pettit.
How'd it work out for Bob? Never heard of him.
Yeah, I never heard of him. Also drafted. Also drafted the 2nd round of that draft. Richie Guerin was drafted that year.
That's a good name.
So
I was looking at when we talked about Ginobili, what a steal he turned out to be, because he was a late 2nd round pick. It's like
don't get me started on Tony Parker. The Celtics want to draft Tony Parker, and Red Auerbach's last great pick, he wanted Joe Forte instead. So
we drafted Andrea Bargnani. That's
the Italian stallion. I don't know if that's really his nickname, but he's from Italy. So
I still remember him in Canada because he did these Prego commercials. I don't even know. Do you have Prego down there?
Yeah.
Okay, I know. All right. So he did these Prego commercials, and pretty much all they could get him to do was just like, just like look at the camera. And
Prego is the number 2 food related way that people in the United States show that they're pregnant, make pregnancy announcements. They either have Prego or they actually put a bun in an oven.
Oh, so you're not very. I always thought Americans were creative.
Oh, yes. If there's one thing we could tell about Americans in Hollywood, it's that we come up with our own ideas all the time. So,
all right, after the sarcasm dripping, let's talk about more dead people.
yes. Lee Rose passed away. Led Charlotte to the NIT championship in 1976 and the Final Four in 1977, and then led led Purdue to the Final Four in 1980 as a coach.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah, not bad leading Charlotte to the NCAA Final Four. The only time they've made it there. He was the coach of the year. Yeah, he was the 1977 coach of the year nationally for his role with Charlotte. But he passed away at the age of 85. Also coached as an assistant later in his life with the Spurs, Nets, Bucks, Hornets, and Bobcats. So another coach who passed away, Stan Parrish, who was a coach on the national championship Michigan Wolverines in 1997, as well as the Tampa Bay Bucks when they won the Super Bowl back in 2002, technically season, right? He was a quarterback coach in each of those, but he passed away at the age of 75. From the world of baseball, we lost Tommy Davis, very good outfielder for the Dodgers,
very good,
Mets, White Sox, one of the original Seattle Pilots, Astros, Athletics, Cubs, Orioles, Angels, and Royals.
Three-time
All-Star.
Okay, yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say 3-time All-Star, I believe, and then you just said that. So,
yeah, 3-time All-Star, 2-time NL batting champion in 62 and 63 with the Dodgers. Led the NL and RBIs in 62. Won a World Series with the Dodgers in 63.
Underappreciated.
Career 294 hitter. Very underappreciated.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look how those Dodgers were. I mean, it's so easy to fall through the cracks, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. There's only a handful of people who can say that they won the batting title, and he was one of them.
That is true. And in high school, he played basketball at Boys High School in Brooklyn, where he was teammates with a basketball Hall of Famer, Lenny Wilkens.
Oh.
They played high school basketball together. He was actually going to sign with the Yankees in 56 until Jackie Robinson called him directly to tell him to sign with the Dodgers. And so he did. When Jackie Robinson calls you, you do what Jackie Robinson tells you to do.
There's only a few people you can really say that about, I think, in the entire world.
Yeah.
And
so,
Jackie was
he passed away at the age of 83 earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Couple of just old-timey actors who passed away this week. Estelle Harris passed away.
Oh,
at the age of 93, best known as Estelle Costanza from Steinfeld.
Oh my God.
George's mom.
I actually thought she passed away a long time ago.
No, you're thinking of Doris, whatever her name is from.
No. I know who I'm thinking of. I honestly thought she died around 10 years ago. What a voice, huh? I mean, what was the character she did in some of the Toy Story movies? You got the kids, so you would probably know that better now.
She's Mrs. Potato Head.
Mrs. Potato Head. Okay, yeah. All right. So I mean, good on her for having this career really sort of I don't want to say explode, but like as a senior citizen, I love when that happens.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who's just sort of been grinding out, and then they just sort of like land this great role. And she stole scene after scene in Seinfeld.
She did, 100%.
Yeah.
And then she was in, all the Toy Stories, My Giant. She was voices in a lot of things like Brother Bear, Home on the Range, Tarzan 2. Like she got into a whole bunch of stuff like that. So, yeah, but she was 93 when she passed.
I read somewhere, because John Ratzenberger has been in all the Pixar movies, that technically he is, if you go by who's been in the most successful films all time, It's Cliff Clavin.
Yeah. But coming in close now is Alan Tudyk.
Oh, okay.
Because he's now the voice of, like, he was the parrot in Encanto. He was the chicken in Moana. Like, he plays a lot of minor characters. He's their version over at Disney as opposed to Pixar. So Disney versions, Alan Tudyk plays the John Ratzenberger role. So
gotta watch Encanto this weekend. I think my wife and I were gonna have.
Encanto is super good.
Yeah.
It is super duper good. So I'm warning you now. You're going to be singing the same 3 songs over and over again for a month. So,
yeah, I have really poor memory, so probably not.
The other person who passed away, another voice actor or thing known for voice acting, Nehemiah Persoff, passed away at the age of 102.
Oh my God.
Yeah, he actually known very well for his role. His last role was as Papa Mouskovitz in An American Tail and all the American Tail movies. But he also was Papa and Yentl. He was in what else was he in? He was in Gunsmoke. He was in all sorts of stuff. What was the one I was looking for at the beginning? Oh, he's the cab driver and On the Waterfront, when that big speech, I could have been a contender. Remember that speech? He's the one driving the car at that point. So he was in a lot of things throughout his career.
He had stories, huh?
Yeah, he did. But he started in 48 and finished in 99. So that's pretty good. So anyway. All right. Then we have to get to music. And it's been a awful week in music. Let's start with.
You sent me a big one a few days ago that I didn't know about.
Yeah, we'll get to that a little bit later. He's not even the biggest name this week, I would say.
Oh.
Let's start with Natty Whaler. Nathaniel Ian Winter from Bob Marley and the Wailers passed away at the age of. He was born in 1954 and died in 2022. So that makes him 77, because he hadn't turned 78 quite yet. But he worked with Marley for quite a while. Wasn't one of the original guys, but yeah, played with them for years, and it said passed away after a long illness earlier this week. We also lost 2 members of another big reggae group, the Mighty Diamonds. Both Fitzroy Bunny Simpson and Donald Tabby Shaw, 2 of the 3 of them, passed away within 2 days of each other earlier this week.
Jesus.
Yeah. So they were honored with the national honors and awards, Jamaica's 59th anniversary of independence last year. So basically given their heroes treatment in the city.
As they should.
So probably best known for their song Pass the Coochie, which became Pass the Dutchie, if you remember that song.
Yes.
by Musical Youth. But yeah, they were, let's see. So Tabby Shaw was killed in a drive-by shooting on March 29th.
By purpose, accident, or just?
I can't tell you, but he passed away at the age of 66. And Bunny Simpson died on April 1st. I don't have a cause of death for Bunny, but he was 70. So we also lost the bass singer of the Marcells, best known for his work on Bob. I love
that song.
Moon Blue.
Yeah.
So,
oh man,
Fred Johnson passed away earlier this week. They're best known for their 1959 hit Blue Moon. Fred Johnson was only 80. I would have somehow expected he was older. But yeah, he passed away at the age of 80. Definitely best known for Blue Moon, but they also charted with another song called Heartaches in 1961. They kept putting out music until the early 80s. but they never really hit the height of their first single, which was number one in the US, UK, New Zealand, and Canada. So
the opening song to the end credits of American Werewolf in London.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I forgot about that.
That was when I saw that when I was a little kid, and that scared the hell out of me. My first ever horror movie. All right, useless fact that nobody cares about. But anyway, moving
on. We lost American singer, songwriter, and guitarist Paul Seibel. Passed away at the age of 84. But wrote a bunch of songs, more country folk songs, including Spanish Johnny, Long Afternoon, Any Day Woman, Nashville Again. Then Came Children, a whole bunch of other songs from the early 70s in the folk rock music. So he was 84. From Los Lobos, Francisco Gonzalez passed away.
I missed that again. I love that band. So underrated.
100%. When we were doing our when I first joined the Rock Hall Redo, that was one of the bands that I kept getting people thanking me for voting for. I'm like, this is a very easy vote for me.
You're more active on social media when it comes to that than I've been. But we're going to be doing something massive with that, with the Big Five. I understand WWE Big Five, but we'll talk about that more once we get there.
Okay. So anyway, he passed away at the age of 68 from cancer earlier this week. Also, someone who we talked about in that group, actually, they're elected this week, the Funk Brothers. Joe Messina, the white guy from the Funk Brothers, passed away at the age of 93.
Oh shit, I missed that one too.
So the Funk Brothers had 13 members, 12 African American, and Joe Messina, who looked like an accountant with like the thick Jack Benny glasses. Yeah. But very much known as the White Brother with Soul and one of the most prolific guitarists in Motown Records history. He played.
That's what they called me in Barbados too, the White Brother with Soul.
That makes sense. Yeah, Play That Funky Music, White Boy was probably about him. But he played guitar on Dancing with the Street by Martha and the Vandellas. I Can't Help Myself by the Four Tops, or better known as Sugar Pie Honey Punch.
Yeah.
Your Precious Love with Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell, and a few others. But when Berry Gordy moved his Motown operation to Los Angeles in 1972, he stopped playing guitar for 30 years because he was so lost all his desire to play anymore, and then got back into it much later in life. So,
but he lost his mojo, baby.
Sounds like it. But he passed away, complications from kidney disease. He'd been suffering for over a decade at the age of 93. The second biggest name this week, C.W. McCall, born William Dale Fries Jr., became one of the few people who became most famous in his 40s. Had a gold record in 1975, Black Bear Road, with, of course, Convoy. 8 long-haired friends of Jesus and a chartreuse microbus.
You gotta bring this convoy all across the USA. Convoy. Yep.
Pigpen, this is a rubber duck. We ain't gonna pay no toll. Yeah. So
decent song.
46 when that song came out.
Horrible movie. Yeah,
probably. And the live action that went around at DC earlier this year wasn't the greatest either. Sorry.
We had a little bit more of that, actually, which I'm going to be talking about later in my elevator down.
Sounds good. Anyway, so C.W. McCall was also 93 when he passed earlier this week. That's doing pretty well. So complications from cancer. So. And finally, the biggest name I think who passed this week, Bobby Rydell, passed away at the age of 79. Teen Idol in the early 60s, known for his version of Volare, probably, and Wild One Appeared in the 1963 musical Bye Bye Birdie, which is one, if you don't like musicals and are forced to watch one, that's probably one of the most fun ones you can watch, to be honest. But he passed away at the age of 79. You have any Bobby Rydell?
He was on a Facts of Life episode. That's all I got.
Fair enough.
Yeah, well, he was going apeshit for him.
He passed away of pneumonia complications at the age of 79, but little known fact, the high school in Greece 2 is named Rydell High after Bobby Rydell.
Right, yeah. What, Grease 2?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Michelle Pfeiffer's first film. There you go.
No, that was Michelle Pfeiffer's first film. My goodness.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. So anyway, he passed away at 79. Not in the Rock Hall. Probably will never get in the Rock Hall.
Probably shouldn't. To be fair, but I mean, like, certainly an icon for what he was.
100%. So that's what I got.
Okay. So the next part here is where we look at elevator up, elevator down. People who I think over the last week have made a Hall of Fame case, and those who didn't. And they're all hockey. That's all. I told you that. You don't know who I picked. But I can do a trivia question because I got kind of screwed over the WWE one. Damn you, Vince McMahon. But there were 2 records that were set in hockey. One you probably saw, one you might not have.
I saw one that was broken.
Right. Well, 2 were broken. So one, I'm gonna give them both sort of an elevator up. Although the first one, the one you probably saw, Keith Yandel. Am I correct on that?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes, Keith Yandel. Yep.
Yeah. So he set the record he's now the current Iron Man of hockey. Now, what that really means for the Hockey Hall of Fame, not that much, truth be told. But he's got 600 points for a defenseman, and it's a record that he has until somebody takes it from him. He took that from Doug Jarvis, who's not a Hockey Hall of Famer, but still a very good player, one who had a really good career. And Yandel sort of falls into that. Pretty much, I think they let him sort of get that because as soon as they got it, they made him a healthy scratch because he's currently with Philadelphia, who aren't that good right now. But it's something. He's got it. And it means I don't know if that's ever going to put him in the Hall of Fame conversation. Probably shouldn't, but it's still an elevator up. And it's a damn good record to have.
Yep.
Now, here's the one that you probably don't know happened, which is really amazing that in this day and age, there can actually be a scoring regular season record set. And it did happen by Florida Panthers' Jonathan Huberdeau, who set the record for the most assists by a left wing.
Okay.
Now, that's still compiling. There's still, I don't know how many more games Florida has, but probably at least 10. So either way, it's very impressive. Huberdeau is, when I last checked before we went on, is 4 points behind Connor McDavid for the Art Ross. And every Art Ross winner, all of them, have gotten into the Hockey Hall of Fame. It is fair enough. It is a lock once this happens. Hubert now,
and that Panthers team is super good this year.
Right now, a Calgary, Florida final is my early prediction, which means that neither of them are going to happen. Because when it comes to me and hockey predictions in the playoffs, I'm never right. So what I should say is, go Leafs, go.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, thank you. So he now holds a record. Now, he broke a record of someone who's not going to be a Hockey Hall of Famer. And that is the trivia question I have for Mr. Nolan.
Ooh.
And
the left wing assists in a season.
Yeah. And I'm going to make it easier for you, and it'll still be hard. He broke the record of a Bruin.
In a season,
I never would have got this probably because I forgot. I thought he was a center, and I was wrong, obviously.
A Bruin who's not in the Hall of Fame.
Well, no, he's not in the Hall of Fame. I didn't say that he wasn't in the Hall of Fame, but no, he's not in the Hall of Fame.
No, you said that he's not in the Hall of Fame and probably never getting into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, did I say that?
Right,
yeah. Right. Yeah. No, he's
trying to think of a left wing. Ken Hodge?
No.
Rick Middleton? Am I even in the right time period?
No. Well, Middleton's closer than Hodge.
PJ Axelson. I can't think of it.
Joe Juneau.
Oh, Joey Juneau. I should have thought of that. Yeah. We traded him for Adam Oates, future Hall of Famer.
Yeah, so he now set a record, which he's still compiling. He was a second-team All-Star last year. He's on a team that could win it all. Florida is super good. So he's my elevator up. One of my two elevators. He's my real elevator up. I just wanted to really acknowledge what Yandel did.
It's interesting that Florida's just good this year because there's a legitimate shot after next season they may be relocating because their lease in Sunrise is up next year. And they have not come up with another lease. And they could end up, I mean, there's already got Tampa in Florida. So if they end up in, I mean, I can't imagine they'd want to move to Quebec, even though Quebec has a ready stadium. But like, if they can find a better deal, it would not surprise me if they move. But it'd be weird if they won the Stanley Cup and then like move the next season.
It's possible. It's possible. Tampa does support their hockey. Who would have thought Tampa supports hockey better than baseball?
Well, and yeah, I mean, there's several. Like I said, I went to a Nashville game in October, a preseason game. Nashville freaking loves hockey.
Yeah.
So
you just don't know, and you would think that Atlanta would be a better sports city, period, and they're not.
They're not, particularly not for hockey. Only U.S. city to lose 2 sports teams to Canada.
That's a DiMaggio record. That's not getting broken.
Never getting broken. So those who scoring at home, both the Flames and this version of the Winnipeg Jets were original Atlanta-based hockey teams.
You lose from
because otherwise there are no Flames in Calgary. Well, I guess Calgary does have the Olympics, so I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
but
Calgary
before
they didn't have it at that point though.
Yeah, that was before I believe they won the bid.
Yeah. So, and Atlanta also has had the Olympics, but they hadn't had him at the point the team left either. So
that's also true. Yeah. Well, there you go. So be it. Atlanta's just not going to be a hockey city ever.
No. So here's the question: if Florida relocated, are the top places? I mean, we know that Quebec City has an NHL ready arena, right? Or they don't.
They have one that's good enough.
All right, Kansas City has one that they built in the hopes of getting somebody to come, and nobody's come there yet.
Mm-hmm.
And then Hamilton, like where else is this team going to go?
Hamilton's never going to get one because they're always going to be blocked by the Leafs. They built a hockey arena.
Successfully blocked anything.
They built that damn arena was built when I was before I was even legal, and I'm old as shit. With the hopes of getting an NHL team.
Yeah.
So it's never going to happen because of that the territorial rule.
It's just interesting though. So that's the thing now that Vegas and Seattle have teams.
Mm-hmm.
And there aren't that. If Florida was going to move, there aren't that many places because you're not going to go back to Atlanta again.
Well,
and then
putting one in Seattle eliminated a huge possibility.
I mean, your biggest cities left in the U.S. without one that might care. I guess Cleveland or Cincinnati, but do they really care?
Well,
Wisconsin doesn't have one, so you'd think Milwaukee might support a team.
Okay, what about Houston? Dallas has done a pretty good job.
Yeah, Houston's possible. I'm going to Houston in May for a week. I think I'll be able to podcast from there because it's a work trip, I suppose. And Houston is a real place. And not that the Great Smoky Mountains are not a real place. They just don't have very good internet.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll tell you what that's like in May, because I can't imagine. I guess they have hockey in Vegas in June. So why can't they do it in Houston in June?
I got it. I went to a Vegas game. I was blown away by how much people gave a shit. Actually, a bartender at the New York was yelling at me because he overheard my conversation and my wife like, "But all the Vegas stuff, look at the night stuff here. I can't believe this. I got it wrong. Didn't really care. Like, what are you saying about my nights? Like, I don't know. I said I got it wrong."
Yeah. So, all right. Anyway, is those your elevator ups? I know I took
that's my up. My elevator down is someone who probably should have been one a few weeks ago. Now, I don't want to go politics, but I'm going to a little bit. Now, though, if you've been following me or and Evan in the show, or just me, really, for that matter, you'll know that there's a certain prime minister I hate.
Mm-hmm.
I've never called him a Nazi. You want to know why?
Because he's not.
Exactly. And this is a word that I don't know what it necessarily means anymore, but there was a comment I let slide on the site. I may still delete it. I don't know. And it was about Terran Fleury.
Okay.
And it was like, no one should ever vote for him. This guy's a Nazi. I'm paraphrasing. I don't remember exactly what it was, but long story short, Fleury's gone. He's full right wing, which is fine, but he also dabbles in some things that I'm not exactly fond of.
Okay.
In terms of a little bit too conspiratorial theory. Let's just leave it at that.
All right, fine, fair enough. Leave it at that. That's as delicately as you've ever put anything. So let's leave it there.
All right. People who think like that, right or wrong, whether you think it or not, whether you agree with them or not, they don't get into halls of fame, especially ones as touchy as the hockey one.
Touchy is an interesting word to be using with Teo Fleury. I'm sorry, I just want to point that out.
Yeah. No, very true. But I mean, he was someone who was considered by almost everyone here. I don't want to say a hero per se, but a survivor.
Survivor, 100%.
Which he still is. But to go from survivor to other people, because of calling him that. So I was doing a search, like how many other people think the same thing about him? That this, I say gentleman, I don't know, that was a guy who put that on as a comment. Either way, it's a toxic thing to go far on any side right now.
Fair.
Period.
Mm-hmm.
And Fleury right now is, I don't know if the type of right winger I'm not altogether fond of. Can I leave it at that?
Sure. Just leave it right there.
So if I'm feeling that way, and a Hall of Fame like the Hockey Hall of Fame that really doesn't want to be controversial at all in a sport that doesn't like controversy.
Mm-hmm.
I probably should have used him as an elevator down some time ago. In terms of
you got brought to your attention this week, so
yeah, I guess I sort of like thought, oh, this would be a good one. And then I forgot, and then I just because I have to go through the comments. Unfortunately, and I'll just say this out here for anyone who says like, how come my comments on like certain posts takes a while to get actually cleared? It's because I got a bunch of fucking Russians posting a bunch of stuff saying buy this Viagra and crap. So I have to go through that periodically, and it's a pain in the ass.
It's the worst thing Russians have ever done. Anyway.
Well, to me.
To you, fair enough. Anyway, all right. So we're ready for the good, the bad, and the ugly?
Yeah, I don't even have a clue what they are. I just know they weren't baseball because of
yeah, there's no baseball. I'm leaving baseball off for a little bit here. Okay. Opening day is tomorrow. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the season goes. Chris Sale is injured again. So we spent all the money on Chris Sale and didn't keep Mookie Betts, Yeah. And now Rafael Devers doesn't want to sign a contract during the season, so it's going to be great.
If I'm to believe every prognosticator, I guess I can start a parade at the Sky Dome, but that doesn't mean I believe it.
Yeah, I do want to say this though. In 1991, the Oakland Athletics had the highest payroll in baseball at $33 million.
Yeah, I read this too. Yep. Yeah.
Currently, their opening day, because they made a trade since I first read this, currently their opening day salaries are $29.6 million.
And you didn't even look at the inflation calculator either.
No,
I can't even imagine.
And the league locked the players out because they thought the players had too good a deal. Like the Orioles are at 40 million. The Rays are at 41 million. The Dodgers are at like small country GDP, right? But like there has to be a salary floor to make baseball competitive, or you start doing baseball is making an argument for doing promotion relegation, honestly, at this point. If this is what we're going to do, you need promotion relegation, get other teams who want to build their own stadiums and do whatever, pick them up.
Hey, who's Las Vegas? They got a AAA team. Is that Oakland's?
Yeah, the Oakland it's Vegas Aces.
All right, swap them. Swap six at this point.
Anyway, this wasn't a good bad ugly. I was gonna leave baseball alone, but I couldn't leave that alone. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. Just when they thought you were out, I pulled you back.
Also not making the cut this week. Just by the way, the fact that the state of New York cut $800 million from child services, and then came up with $800 million to find a new stadium for the Bills, like the very next day. So. And then the Bills are going to build a stadium in upstate New York that doesn't even have a retractable roof. But anyway,
Glenn and I were talking a bit about that too. So, but yeah, go on.
Anyway, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So the good, as a Celtics fan, it warms my heart that the Lakers and we talked about this for our show, 5, potentially 7 All-Stars or Hall of Famers.
Yeah, we said that before. Before we went on. Because we were just venting because the Lakers were officially eliminated yesterday, and at the start of the season,
with LeBron on the bench laughing as the clock went to zeros. So lots of Lakers fans were unhappy with that.
Whatever.
Yeah, and I'm just telling you what Lakers fans are unhappy about last night.
Because they also know that he's not going to stay. He's going to bail on them.
Well, he's waiting to figure out where his son gets drafted, and then he's going to end up there.
That's good.
If you want LeBron to come, draft his son in the second round. How many second round picks make it anyway?
That's a very good point. LeBron can be all right. I guess we're talking about LeBron for a bit. I have a love-hate thing with LeBron, as you know. Saying that, there's a lot of people who say that he really dogged it. Like LeBron is still one of the best players. Look at the draft class around him and how much work he puts in. So in that draft class, Dwayne Wade's long gone. Chris Bosh is long gone. Carmelo Anthony is a shell hanging on.
And Carmelo was out and then got back in. He was out for a while.
Which shouldn't have happened. But, but Carmelo had to sort of like prove to people that he was willing to say, okay, I'm not that guy anymore. And he proved it.
But what about Darko? You're forgetting Darko. No, but that team, like we said, you have 5 first ballot Hall of Famers. We already mentioned 2 of them, Carmelo and LeBron. Then you have, Westbrook.
Westbrook's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, and Anthony Davis. Now, and everyone's saying like, hey, these guys aren't first ballot Hall of Famers. Look at who's in and how they get. Yes, they are, and yes, they're going to be. And with 2 people who aren't on the roster now, Marc Gasol and Rajon Rondo, starting off. But I mean,
who are both at least going to be in the conversation. I think Gasol's got a better shot of getting in than Rondo. I agree. Just based on the international stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, they had 7 and didn't make it. But I'm not here to bury the Lakers other than, celebrate it. I'm here to celebrate what I think is going to be the greatest NBA playoffs of our lifetimes. This NBA playoffs, particularly in the East, is so wide open. There are so many really good teams who can beat each other on any given night. Like the first round, at this point, I wouldn't want to be the 2 seed in the East because you're going to have to play Brooklyn probably in that first round, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's going to be hoping that Cleveland pulls it together and wins a couple games here, and Brooklyn drops when Atlanta moves up, so that Atlanta can so that Brooklyn will get the 8 seed at best, right? But at the same time, I don't think anyone's going to be dodging that. But I think the Sixers, the Celtics, the Heat, the Bucks, and the Nets all can legitimately come out of the East. And Toronto is going to be a pain in the ass for somebody to knock out. I don't think Toronto's going to get there, but they're going to be a pain in the ass, and whoever has to play them is going to be battered and bruised.
Well, not only that, some of those teams are going to be shorthanded. Looks like Thibault won't be.
Thibault.
Yeah, so he won't be. So with Brooklyn, Irving can't come.
Right. Allegedly someone with the Celtics, but we don't know who it is.
Okay, I was watching Toronto Sports Radio. Watching Sports Radio. Nice, Kirk. Watching Sports TV. We got that in Canada, and they're suspecting it's Brown.
Jaylen Brown.
That's what they think.
Seems very unlikely.
Well, I didn't say that he was right. I'm just saying that's what he said.
I'm just saying if you're looking at the Celtics, that is actually, I mean, it's possible, but if you had to have me guess which one of the Celtics was not vaccinated, Brown would be my legitimate last guess.
Yeah, he was saying, and again, I don't know. It's on Sportsnet here in Canada that Tatum is, and he says he suspects Brown is not.
Well, I don't know, but yeah, he's not the person I would expect it to be. But anyway, the West is not going to be quite as good because Phoenix is, I think, running away with it, and I don't think the bottom of that bracket is going to be interesting. But the second round there, I think all top 4 seeds can get through. But that second round, Phoenix, Dallas, Memphis, Golden State is also going to be a battle to the death.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing there, because like Memphis hasn't been there, so you don't know what they're going to do. Golden State has.
True.
So that, that's what.
And Golden State's fallen to where they've fallen because Curry got injured against the Celtics and it's been out.
Right.
Curry comes back healthy. It's actually probably not the worst thing. Save him the wear and tear. But Curry comes back. We'll see. I mean, the first round matchup, Dallas, Utah will be good. Golden State, Denver. I mean, is it possible that Jokic can pull something out? Yeah, but that Denver team around him is just not that great. I mean, suppose the Clippers can make some noise, but they're still the Clippers. They've never won anything. So, yeah, but I just think the East first round on is still going to be amazing. The Western Conference, once you get to round 2, is going to be amazing. I really think I'm very excited. So this is the most excited I've been for an NBA playoffs in a very long time, like for the whole thing going through.
Okay. So like not just as a Celtics fan.
Not just Celtics fan.
Okay.
I mean, the Celtics right now are a 2 seed. They beat the Bulls tonight because everybody beats the Bulls. I'd love for them to fall to 3 so they get the Bulls in the first round. But I mean, they play Milwaukee later this week, and whoever loses that game is probably 3, and the other one's 2.
Right.
And because Celtics' last 2 games are Milwaukee and Memphis on the road. So those are 2 not easy games. All Memphis is nothing to play for. So anyway, I'm just excited about the NCAA.
I like that.
I'm sorry, just excited about the NBA playoffs.
Okay.
All right, here's my trivia question for you, my friend. Here's the bad.
All right.
The Premier League was created in 1992.
Okay.
During that time, there have been 6 teams which have participated in every season of the Premier League. Can you name all 6?
I'll probably not, but I'll give it a shot. Arsenal?
1.
Was that yes?
Yes, that's good. Yes, that's right.
Man U?
Man U's 2.
Liverpool?
Liverpool's 3.
Chelsea?
Chelsea's 4.
Man City?
No, Man City was down for a while.
Okay. I know it's not Leicester.
It's not Leicester. I wish it were, but no.
Everton?
Everton is 5.
Okay. 6B. Tottenham?
Tottenham. Yeah.
Hey, 5 out of 6. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it was very good.
Yeah.
I was expecting you to get Everton last because Everton, at the way they're going, may be dropping from.
Last I saw, they were 17th.
They were 17th, and they lost to the 19th place team today.
Oh, Jesus. Okay.
So they're now 1 point above the drop zone. So Norwich City is going to set the record for that. They're going to break their own record for most times relegated. Norwich City has been promoted 5 times and relegated. This will be the 5th time. They've never been in the Premier League more than the season they've been promoted. They just yo-yo up and down.
Okay.
Watford's got 22 points, but they have played one more game. Burnley and Everton both have played 29 games, but Burnley won 3-2 tonight. And at halftime, Burnley's coach, they were down 2-1 to Everton. He told them, "Don't worry. I'm pretty sure Everton doesn't know how to win soccer games. If we go out there and play or win football matches, if we go out there and play hard, they're going to fold." And guess what happened?
They folded.
And Burnley won 3-2. When the 19th place team's coach, it's just like they're going to fold. Everton's other problem is, and Frank Lampard is the new head coach. He's been there 12 games. He's lost 8 of them now since he's been there. But the rest of their schedule is Man U, Leicester, Liverpool, Chelsea, Leicester again, Brentford, Crystal Palace. Brentford's not great, but Crystal Palace is in the top half as well, and just beat Chelsea 4-1 at Chelsea this last week. And Arsenal, they are screwed.
Holy shit.
They have, Brentford is the easiest game, and Brentford is not an easy team. They're a tough team to play. They are currently.
That's the team that in the opening week, right? They upset. Who did they upset? And it was just so awesome.
Yeah, it was because it was their first time in the league in I don't remember how many years, like 72 years, right?
Yeah.
And I'll get right now. They're 14th right now.
Yeah, they're singing "Hey Jude" at the whole thing. Yeah, I remember. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so they beat Arsenal 2-0.
Okay. In the opener. Yeah.
In the opener. So Everton is in some serious.
All right. So you're a Leicester fan. So how do you feel about that? Or
I don't care. I don't care about Everton. Everton's been there, but it's never really that much of a factor, right? They're usually like the 6th through 10th place team.
To me, you know who they are? They're the Mexico in the World Cup. They're always going to be like finished right in the middle. And so here's your fun fact. Mexico by far has the most losses in World Cup play. And it's not even close, which makes sense. Every group, win, loss, tie, do enough to get through, and then lose again right away before they win. Because they never get past either 6. I don't think they've ever gotten to the Final Four.
They have not.
Yeah.
So they will set the record for most times hosting the World Cup. So, which will be their 3rd time. They hosted in 78 and 86.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah. But yeah, this is
unless people listens to you and strip them of it.
That's too late. They're not gonna do anything. So yeah, but they're in serious trouble. One of the old teams, and I think they're gonna death spiral right out of this. I don't think they have a shot in heck because they don't play. Like I said, Brentford is their easiest game, and Brentford is 8 points better than them at this point. The next easiest game is Crystal Palace. Crystal Palace is 12 points better than them. So I don't think they're going to make it. I think going to be dropped from the Premier League for the first time since in the 30 years that it's existed. So barring some sort of miracle. So we'll see. But that's just bad for one of the old franchises. They have 7 wins, 4 draws, and 18 losses, and a negative 20 goal differential.
Didn't they start off good too this year?
They started pretty well, but yeah, they have not. I mean, they lost 3-2. They lost to West Ham 2-1 last week, 4-0 to Crystal Palace. And they beat Newcastle 1-0, but they lost to Wolves 1-0, 5-0 to Tottenham. Like, let's get their asses kicked all over.
And you wondered why I called you the soccer guy.
Yeah. That's me. I am the soccer guy.
All right. Oh no,
and the
ugly, because you did send me something. All right.
Yeah, I did send you the ugly. The Professional Fighters League is not something that I think we've ever talked about before.
Here's what I'm going to say about this. I'm not familiar with it, but yeah.
I'm not either. It's a mixed martial arts event. But if you advertise something as live and it is pre-recorded and you allow people to bet on it, that's a problem. So on Friday, April 1st, it must just because it's April Fool's Day. That's what they really should have gone with as a defense. Mm-hmm. So they said that they're going live with the PFL Challenger Series live at 9 p.m. It said that they tweeted on Friday that fighters are in the building for tonight, with tonight in all caps. Right? So Vegas sportsbooks were taking action on the fight. Problem was that they had actually done the fight 6 days previously on the 25th and were showing them live as if they were live.
I don't even know how they got away with that.
I don't know what to tell you. Like, they're going to be in trouble with the Vegas books. Like, let me just tell you, there's certain people you don't want to piss off. And the Vegas books, this is probably the number one way you can piss them off. Telling them something is live, informing everybody that's live, and having it pre-recorded. So there's something called a Vegas-based company called US Integrity, which monitors betting markets. And it sent an alert to Sportsbook confirming that the fights were pre-taped after like the votes all went for all the people who won crazily.
What I was reading too is like if they didn't sort of like notice like the betting pattern, they wouldn't have even picked up on it either too.
Probably not, because again, it's a professional fighting league, fighters league. How many people are actually really paying that close attention to it?
Wait a minute. How come these fighters like?
I'm not an MMA person, so maybe there are a lot of people who are actually, but I have no idea.
Wait a minute. How come this person's out betting on this fight? But he's live over here. I don't get it.
Yeah, someone betting on their own fight. That would be.
While they're watching them fight.
They're watching themselves fight in like Circa, which is like the biggest sports book now. So they're watching themselves fight in Circa and betting on themselves to win a match they knew they won.
I can't say we, like in Canada, when they first started the early days of, we have what's called ProLine, and you're basically doing the same thing. It's legalized sports gambling from the Ontario Lottery Committee or Commission. I don't know how that works. Because I won like $70 the first time I played, and then I never won shit after. It's like, fuck it. So they started adding soccer from overseas, but they released the lines, or they put everything out after, like a couple hours after everything already happened in Italy when they were doing the Italy one. So it took them a couple months to figure out, shit, everyone keeps getting all this Italy stuff right. Because there weren't that many people actually betting on it. Was it Serie A or something? I always forget.
Yeah, Serie A.
Yeah. So people were just like making a whole pile of money until they figured it out. Like, what the hell? Why is this happening? Oh shit.
Well, in this case, so our heavyweight Rakeem Talley was a negative 290 favorite over Santino Zarita. And before the fight started, he went from negative 290 to negative 2,500 favorite.
Well, I mean, just when you think this stuff is impossible, and we'll see this shit again. At least the ugly was a funny one to laugh at. Usually it's depressing.
It was just so ridiculous this week. It's just so bad. I had to have that as our anchor this week. So
that was great. Maybe it should be the good, the bad, the pitiful. Oh shit! I forgot to do this.
That was pitiful. Anyway, so promote stuff.
Oh yeah, well, let's promote our biggest project, the United States Athletic Hall of Fame. In a few months, we're going to be announcing the first ever class, but that's not up to Evan and I. It's up to all of you. Vote at www.notinhalloffame.com/USA. We're really proud of what we put together. It's the first and only United States Athletic Hall of Fame. It's all about all the sports in the U.S. These are, to qualify, you've got to be 50, pretty much, at this point. And we put together the creme de la creme. And it's not just Evan and I. We've got Olympians helping us out. Former 7-time Pro Bowler Richmond Webb. Some great bloggers, some good friends of ours. We're really, really proud of this. Please check that out. Hey, I wrote a book. It's also Evan's favorite. It's Evan's favorite wrestling book of all time.
I agree. It is.
Yeah, it is. And I wrote that about Chavo Guerrero Sr., the late, great former luchador. I helped him write his autobiography before he passed away a few years ago. And that's finally now available online on Amazon.com. Chavo Guerrero, instant classic. Check that out. I do a bunch of other shows. So if you don't like me, well, I guess you're not going to watch all the other shows. But
you're on the wrong network.
Yes. The spider web of networks, the Spider-Verse, the Kirkiverse. Ooh,
Kirkiverse, yeah.
Kirkiverse, I like that. Well, recently recorded, Andrea Tessman, Brad Nelson, and I on our regular show. How the hell did this go number one? Well, we have a real easy one. It was, we don't need no education. We don't need no thought control. Another brick in the wall. So you know what I did, Evan? They keep picking all these good songs. I gave them a shitstorm for next week. You want to know what it is?
The Pina Colada song?
We've already done that.
Oh, okay. No, what is it?
We Built This City.
Voted the worst rock song of all time by VH1.
Brad says he's going to defend it. Well, good luck, buddy. Because I'm going to rip the shit out of that one. Chris Bourdain and I, our show about that, this crap was on national television. What we're currently up is That 80s Show. So we looked at that. And pretty soon we're going to be recording the 1989 Oscars. The one that should have killed Rob Lowe's career. It killed someone else's career, which we'll sort of talk about there.
Okay.
Nothing to do with Chris Rock or Will Smith. I don't believe either were present. Well, it would have been old enough. Maybe they would have been. I don't know. But no, they were. As far as I know, they were not there. So we've got that. Vinny Lospinuso does a lot of great shows for us where he makes the Hall of Fame case for sometimes inanimate objects. I don't know who the fuck he talks about half the time, but it's usually always entertaining. I'll give him that. And the Classic Sports Review is back. We have recorded Glenn Pulowski, the greatest triathlete ever to come out of the city of Buffalo, and he successfully defended that title in Antarctica. I don't know if you know that.
No, I did not realize that.
Oh yeah. So he's now the champion of the 7th continent. That's what I've dubbed him. Champion of the 7th continent.
Shouldn't you just call him Emperor, or is that just for penguins?
The Emperor Penguin of triathletes. I like that. Well, we looked at the first ever USFL game. Not the one coming up, the first one that we saw. Holy crap. Lee Corso really shouldn't, he's misusing the word gorilla. Let's just leave it at that.
Lee Corso is never blessed with the ability to say words correctly, so.
Yeah, I just was a little like, ooh, can't believe you just said that. But hey, no social media then. What can you say? So all that, much more,
Right.
wherever you are, wherever you may be, stay safe, everybody.
Take care, guys.